And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Yep, we are here. We are finally live. I'm hearing it. Out of the blue corner, Josh Thompson.
The stud.
But the guy that is the man, the one in the red corner, the one that matters. That's that guy. What's up, dude?
Oh, you just made that shit up in your head, huh? Hey, man, I'm Josh Thompson. I'm Josh Thompson. This is John McCarthy, and obviously podcast Dave on the bottom right corner. I don't know if you can see him in the corner, but he's my man. And we're gonna have a great show tonight. We've got a lot to talk about. We've got Jon Jones. Is he a troll? Is he trolling Tom Aspinall? There's a lot to talk about. We've got some other news that Dave was talking about, but and some guys that signed, some fights to talk about. There's a lot going on. BetUSTV.com. You guys can check out all their sportsbook stuff available at BetUSTV.com. Dave, why don't you go ahead and launch this with the Jon Jones conversation and how it all came about, and he's in Thailand enjoying his best life, it seems like.
Yeah, so Jon Jones gets a comment online on X, and he responds with the comment says he's posting about drinking coconuts in Thailand and living his best life. And someone responds, otherwise you'd have to vacate the belt a long time ago because you don't have a plan to fight Tom. Jones replies, y'all barking up the wrong tree. I told the UFC my plans a long time ago. I have no clue why they haven't shared them with you guys yet. And then someone replies, enjoying your last days as champ before being stripped, I see, John. And then he replies, stripped? Laugh out loud. Do you guys do I come across as the type of person who cares about things like that? So reaction there. There's also
happened before.
There's takes online that he's trolling Tom Aspinall, so the fight's really actually moving forward, but he's trolling Tom to kind of get a rise out of him, making him think he's not going to get the fight. So there's takes like that as well by certain people online. And then Anthony Smith is a take here as well. Jon Jones does not care what Tom Aspinall wants, and in fact wants to do the complete opposite of what Tom Aspinall wants. If Jon and Tom want the exact same thing, then Jon doesn't want it anymore. That's how Jon is going to operate. Jon is a master at emotional and mentally exhausting people.
Absolutely true.
Yeah, I mean, everything that Anthony Smith just said is
absolutely true.
Couldn't be more accurate. I don't think that either one of us could have wrapped it up any better than what he just said. He is a master at playing mind games, an absolute master. And then on top of that, he's achieved so much throughout his career that he doesn't care what you want. And he's also in his time.
Hold on, especially and it gets down to this. You have to learn whenever you're in the public, eye and everything, you got to learn not to give a shit what anyone thinks. And if you do, it's going to affect you. And Jon is a master at not giving a fuck what anybody, I don't care who says it. In the end, he doesn't give a damn. All he cares about is, hey, the UFC knows what I'm going to do. Okay. And I'm going to play this out the way I want. He is, and you can look at the different fights that he's had and the different animosities with certain fighters. He's a master at getting under people's skin.
Yeah,
he's good at it. Yeah. It's not the way Conor did it. It's different, but he's good at it. It's not the way Chael did it. It's different, but he's good at it. He's got his style.
When you are the person who has accomplished everything he's accomplished, like the same thing went for Khabib, the same thing's going for other fight, Islam right now. All people want to do is hate. And even Ilia, people want to hate on Ilia. Yeah. There's less hate on him because he's fresh and he's new. Give him time, Ilia. They'll all turn on you. Trust me. They will all turn on you. But it just comes down to they want something to bitch about. They want something to get online and complain about. And they want to feel important. So they want to put their 2 cents in. Bottom line is he is somebody that has accomplished a lot. Okay. And he doesn't really care what any other fighter thinks. He doesn't care. As long as, like you said, as long as the UFC knows what his plans are, and this is what he's told them. It is kind of strange that the UFC hasn't told everyone, like, hey, Jon's going to enjoy his vacation. He's going to do what he's going to do and come on back. But there must be something in the mix of way. Maybe Tom's thinking about taking a fight. Maybe he wants to stay active. I would suggest that Tom stay active. I can't see a heavyweight beating him. I mean, it doesn't mean that it can't happen. It's a heavyweight division. Anything can happen, but there's fights that I've seen plenty of times where I didn't think that the fighter could possibly lose. Sure enough, they lost. And so when I look at this fight, I look at Tom Aspinall. He can fight Tsarukyan. He can fight whoever's else in the Volkov and those guys. He can fight those guys, and I think he'd have success against them. But it is a puncher's chance. You are losing that opportunity. But I guess the next question for me, though, John, is he now becoming the Michael Chandler of the heavyweight division? That's a fair question, isn't it?
Well, that's what you don't want to have happen. I think that's what you're talking about is look, there comes a point where they're playing with you and they're pushing your buttons and they're saying, oh yeah, you want to fight? Well, I want this. I want that. I want this. I want that. I'm the real champ. You're not the champ. All that stuff. And it bothers you a little bit. You just go, fuck you.
Yeah.
But you cannot allow that person to control the scenario. You have to show them, you know what? You don't mean shit to me. And you have to be in that mindset that I'll move on from you in a heartbeat. And he does need to do that. And it's, whether, he's already fought Volkov, but they could put him back with Volkov, but, Cyril Gane or whoever they want to put him with, hey, get me a fight. I want to fight because I'm not waiting for your fucking, your undisputed champion means nothing to me because he is absolutely a runner. He's running from me. That's the way you have to talk, and that's the way you have to be.
I honestly, I'm going to take a different approach. I don't even think he needs to talk that way. I think he just needs to move on with his life and his career because look, it's been what, a year now?
No, he does. I think I understand why you say he doesn't, but I want you to think about this. Look is it Tom Aspinall that's controlling, whether the fight's going to happen or not? No. It's Jon. Jon's controlling it. So if I'm Tom, I'm going to continue fighting and I'm going to continue beating people and I'm going to continue putting out there that you have your running shoes on and you're doing everything you can to avoid this fight. You're running from me. That's what I'm going to put out.
You can say that, and maybe there'll be a couple stragglers that attach, to that narrative, but it's just not true. You know what I mean?
No. It is. Hold on. It's a story. It doesn't have to be the actual, absolute factors. It has to be a story because who are you trying to get on your side? You're trying to get the media on your side and you're trying to get them to push the narrative for you.
John, we just went through 4 years of this shit of bullshit and in politics. I don't need it in MMA, bro. We don't need him to just make up narratives. Look, I get it. I understand you're trying to sell the fight.
Yeah.
I think but I honestly believe that winning will solve everything. If he continues to win, he doesn't need to say much. Jon, I'm here whenever you're ready. Or Jon, if you want to just go ahead and leave your title so I can pick it up on the way out, that's cool with me too. Like, I just feel like no one really, like I've said this before, and it doesn't matter whether I believe Jon Jones is the GOAT or not, or I believe that he's the world-class fighter that he is. People don't care anymore about Jon Jones. He can leave tomorrow. He can retire. He hasn't been active enough for people to care. And it doesn't matter if it's Jon Jones or if it's anybody else.
No,
if you are not an active fighter, they just don't care anymore. They're like, okay, look, when he comes back around, I'll start giving a shit again. But he's not there.
You could be the most popular fighter, Josh. You know this.
Yeah.
Conor McGregor has been the most popular fighter in the UFC. And there are people now that go, I don't give a shit anymore. I don't care. And so you can lose it. And Jon never really had it to where, he was a favorite. He was never the fan favorite. He was always kind of like the heel. That's okay. Mm-hmm. You can be the heel, but yeah, you get to the point. No one even cares if you're fighting. And when you're that good, there's something wrong with it. Because that was the whole thing Ali used to do. Ali, he didn't care if you wanted him to win or wanted to lose. I just want you to watch.
John, I was like 2 when Ali was fighting. Okay,
but he was the one that established that talk and everything to get people to have a passion one way or the other about the fight. Smart.
No, I understand that, and I think Tom Aspinall, if he continues to win, that will bring Jon to the table more than you talking trash about Jon. Jon doesn't like when something comes out of your mouth, he's not bothered by it at all. He's not bothered by it. It doesn't spark any interest in him to even get up off the couch and go do an extra push-up. He doesn't care. But if you win and you continue to win, now you beat Tsarukyan. Okay, well, I beat Tsarukyan. Okay, you beat Volkov. Okay, I haven't fought Volkov. You beat this other guy or Almeida and whoever. Now you've made a name for yourself in the heavyweight division. Now there's more to it. That's why you wanted to fight Stipe, right? Considered to be the best heavyweight with the most wins in the heavyweight division. He insisted on fighting Stipe. He insisted on it, and they waited and they drug it out for over a year for this fight to happen. Yeah. Well, that now, if you're Tom Aspinall, he just wants you to have a better record as an interim champion or as someone in the heavyweight division, so he can say, yeah, well, I beat him. And if we do MMA math, or if we don't do MMA math, but he's beating all these other guys. Right now, if I beat him, he's beating nobody. Who's he beating?
Beating everybody they put in front of him.
I understand that, John, but can you remember a name? Give me some names. Curtis Blades.
It's just Curtis Blades. He just beat. Okay. Volkov. He's beaten. I mean, look, he beat Andrei Arlovsky a while ago. That's he's faced guys that had names in the division. He's faced everybody he really can. And it's a matter of here's the problem. You have that stupid interim title. You know what an interim title means. I know what it means. It means you're not the champion. Okay. That's really what it means. You're not the champ. Jon Jones is the champ. And so, the whole thing that they had you fighting, Sergey for, it doesn't mean anything because you're not the champ.
I would disagree only in this is that he will get paid. I would believe if Jon's not willing to fight, he's going to get paid his championship money. So whatever his contract says for championship money, I think if he's defending the interim title, that would be considered championship money. So he's going to get paid. So if I was him, I wouldn't waste this year and a half waiting around for Jon Jones.
I wouldn't either.
Potentially is not going to happen. Like I said, do we put him up there now? And I love Tom Aspinall. I was high on Tom Aspinall when he first came into the UFC. I've been talking about him since he first exploded on the scene. I thought Bisping was a little biased, but then I understood they're from, the same country. And so it was more like, but I loved Tom Aspinall.
Okay, but and part of the reason that you love Tom Aspinall is this, and I can't say all of his fights going, but in the UFC for the most part, if you look, in fact, okay, Dave has it over here. How many decisions?
I don't think any.
Exactly.
I don't think any. Yeah.
Exactly.
Very impressive. His Pavlovich fight, right? Or he knocked out Pavlovich was freaking awesome. I mean, like
a guy that everyone was saying, oh, this could be the guy that could starch him. Nope.
Yep.
Starched him in return.
Yeah. I mean, the Tsarukyan fight is the only fight that was kind of makes sense right now for him to fight. Maybe an Almeida, after that fight. But then look, just get past those guys, get those wins. And I'm not saying it's gonna be easy. I'm simply saying that don't wait around in those opportunities to make championship money. And I go back to just my career and wish I was more active, and fighters that were not active and waited around for certain fights. You end up thinking to yourself, man, I could have made so much more money during that time. I mean, I would imagine Michael Chandler at some points go, fuck, I know what he's making. He missed out on a lot of money. Could have fought 2, maybe 3 more times. And against fighters that, he potentially could have beat. So do I think Jon Jones is trolling him? I absolutely do think Jon Jones is trolling. I think he's just trolling, not just Tom Aspinall. He's trolling the public.
Absolutely.
He's telling everybody, I will be back when I am ready. Nothing you guys say or do. And I'm going to go ahead and give you guys little nuggets here and there. So you keep talking about me. Brilliant. Like Anthony Smith said, he is the best at playing mind games. And he's playing a mind game with all the fans. Probably even a little with the UFC. UFC's like, hey, what do you mean you're done? Even if they know what the plans are already. Wait, why are you telling me you're done? What's going on? And then, he probably had to explain himself.
That's okay.
No, but look, Jon Jones, right? Well, I mean, not the double champ, but he's the champ. He's the champ, whatever you want to say. And the champ, the double champ does whatever the fuck he wants to do. That's what it comes down to, right, John? So
Look,
he can do what he wants. And so Tom should stay busy, should stay active, and get a fight booked.
I
Because
agree.
in that process, you're not getting any better. The gym doesn't get you better. It does. Sorry, I take that back. It does get you better.
Yeah,
but
it gets you better.
It doesn't equate to how good you get from the life lessons inside that cage at real fight speed.
True.
Correct.
True. Yeah, but it's a matter of if you're Aspinall, you got to look and say the Cyril Gahn fight. It's a good fight, but he should win it. He's just a better overall fighter, and he's got more ways of winning that fight by far. But is it a dangerous fight? Anytime you're going against a guy that's big and strong, hits hard, it can be dangerous. But all of them, there's no one in there. You can look at Almeida. It's a dangerous fight in the first round.
Yeah. Well, if Almeida can even get him down.
Yeah.
Which I think he might be able, but even still, Tom Aspinall off his back is dangerous as well.
Damn good.
We got a super chat from Giovanni Perez. You want to read that out for us there, Dave?
Yeah, Giovanni Perez saw what felt like the first Americana finish in years last Saturday. Josh, can you give a technical fighter's explanation as to why this classic submission has all but disappeared? I miss the old days.
Okay, read it one more time. Sorry, the Americana, true American wrestler. You got me confused there.
He saw what felt like the first Americana finish in years last Saturday. Josh, can you give a technical/fighter's explanation as to why this classic submission has all but disappeared? I miss the old days.
Yeah, I mean, this sport's evolved. It's going to continue to evolve. People have learned now to start to feel what it's like when you start putting the, elbow into the neck and start grabbing the positioning on the wrist, all of those things. They start to straighten their arm. They start to push on the hips. They start to put you back into full guard. We've done it so many times now. The defense just comes naturally. You don't even realize that when someone grabs your wrist, you know where you're at, and just all of a sudden you just do the move. And you've repped it so many times. People try it in the gym all the time. I was just training jiu-jitsu this morning at 5:30 in the morning, and I had a couple of black belts trying to hit that on me, with the gi. And I'm like, yeah, but it's a little bit harder to get out of with a gi.
A little harder with a gi.
It is. So you're not just slipping right out like you are in no gi, as a fighter. But yeah, it's something you can attack. I mean, I hit somebody with a straight arm lock today, and was just because they were in a gi. It's a lot harder to get with no gi. And so I think you're going to see sometimes, I think in these submissions, they start to run full circle. Back in the old days, leg locks were pretty popular. They went away for a long time. And now Gordon Ryan and all these guys are bringing them all back, and there's just different ways to attack, how to lace the legs. And they've created this whole new platform that now they're running back through. It's no different than your old school jeans when you used to peg them at the bottom, and bell bottoms back in the day. They make their run back around. There's a little adjustments here and there and how you can get to it, and how you can take the back and how you can do leg locks and how you can hit the key lock in the Kimura and all these things. They'll evolve. It continues to evolve. That's what makes this sport so great. People will continue to come up with new ideas. And I love that about the sport. We've got so many options and so many ways to make this sport great. It's just a matter of people actually trying them in real fights. Think about this. Well, Eddie Bravo was doing the twister, John. It was doing it all the time, right? And then all of a sudden, it was like, I'm going to get that in the fight. And someone did it, and everyone's mind was blown, And then now you get guys that will come out and do it. What was the Sululev stretch, right? Zabit, didn't he do that? He did it, right? Was he the first one to do it?
Aljamain did it. Well, Patchy Mix did it. Next night, Aljamain Sterling did it. It was just like, a lot of people.
Zabit didn't get it. He didn't finish it, right? He had got it, I think, on Cater or somebody before he fought.
He didn't finish it.
No, he didn't finish it.
There was one other one that finished it, and I'm trying to remember who he is. I can't. But Aljamain Sterling definitely hit it, and
Patchy Mix. Interesting. Alejandro Gutierrez, you got another super chat. What do you got for us?
Thoughts: 155 Arman versus Paddy for number one contender versus winner of Charles versus Ilia, and 170 Gary versus Brady for number one contender versus winner JDM Islam.
Okay, so I heard that Ian, Gary, and Sean Brady are already in talks. It sounds like that fight's going to go through. They're going to end up fighting each other. I don't know if that will be for the number one contender spot based on if Shavkat is still promised that title shot, if he's healthy and when he gets healthy. I don't know the details on any of that. I just know that apparently it's Ian Gary and Sean Brady supposed to be getting worked out. The contract's getting worked out on that. In terms of the Patty and Arman, I think it's going to end up being Justin Gaethje and Patty. And the winner of that will probably fight the winner of Ilia and Charles. I think they're going to stick it to Arman a little bit longer. So that's my opinion.
I saw a thing with Arman getting a fight. I'm trying to remember who it was against.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Did he get the fight, or are they just talking about that he's getting matched up?
Hold on a second. Let me see if I can figure this one out.
See, John, you know when you hit that little airplane on the bottom, when you see something, you can actually send that to the news.
Dude, you need to stop. You're starting to walk. Okay? Start cutting some cheese for you.
Well, while John's trying to research this, why don't you guys join us over at OnlyFans? Subscribe to us over there. It is free. We're having a blast over there. We do our live chat there. You guys are watching us right now from OnlyFans. We got plenty of people watching us over there.
Dan Hooker.
And what?
Dan Hooker.
Dan Hooker. Yeah. Jeez, John. Jeez. Yeah, good thing Dave looked it up.
I knew it was someone I saw.
Yeah, I mean, the Dan Hooker and Arman fight sounds like a fun fight.
Yeah.
Can he stop the takedown? The submission threat really won't be there. The ground and pound will be there. The length and reach of Dan Hooker is going to be a problem.
Dan Hooker is one of the toughest individuals there is in the lightweight division.
Okay, so but is he able to fight?
Angry guy. Well, that's the question. He's got a bad hand. I know. He's had some injuries and things setting him back, so it's trouble.
Yeah, I don't know. People were saying that injury to his hand could have been career-ending, so I'm not sure. And his hand looked pretty damn nasty.
Pretty nasty, yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to say hello to Pork Chop out there, because Pork Chop was the son of a guy named Alan who used to fight out of my gym, and Pork Chop used to sit on my shoulders. He was a great guy. I don't think I could lift him up on my shoulders anymore.
You said Pork Chop.
What's up, Pork Chop? He's out here listening to us.
I thought you killed Josh the Pork when you said Pork Chop for a second.
No.
I was like, bro, what'd you do to my boy?
Dude, Josh the Pork is living the life, dude.
Plowing them females.
He's just doing it when he wants.
I love it. I love it. What else you got for us, Dave?
Do you guys want to hit these odds before we move on?
Yeah, let's do it. We got some odds on the upcoming fights and on the next pay-per-view. And let's go ahead and touch on those. I sent you over the graphic on that. You got Merab versus O'Malley at minus 325 at a plus
heavy
264. Huge favorite for Merab.
Heavy.
You think
crazy?
You think it's earned?
According to Sean's coach, it's earned, because Tim Wells came out saying that Merab is the GOAT of the bantamweight division, and with everything he's done, he deserves to be the GOAT. So he's either putting it out there or making people believe it. But I look at minus 325. It's going to change. You're going to get a lot of money on O'Malley. It's gonna end up getting closer. I don't think it'll go below 225, but which is still if it ended up at minus 225, that's a pretty good favorite.
Who would you put as the bantamweight GOAT? Or who would you put as
Dominic Cruz? Dominic Cruz.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. There really hasn't been anybody else.
You can say TJ Dillashaw for a while, but you'd put an asterisk by him. That's okay.
I would.
But I would say Dominic Cruz is.
What about Renan Barão?
The guy.
Right?
No. And the reason why is this. Renan Barão had an incredible run, no doubt about it. But you take a look at the individuals he was fighting comparatively, and then when he fought TJ, he loses. You look and you go, okay, good run, outstanding, undefeated streak, but wasn't facing, the guys that you go, that's the top guy. That's the top guy. Mm-hmm. He had that, there was like that space in there where all the top guys were getting injured, and he was coming up, and he ends up getting the title after Dominic had to drop out because of injuries and stuff. But good fighter, and saying nothing against him, but I don't think he takes it from Dom.
Interesting. Didn't Miguel Torres have a little bit of a run too in the WEC when Dom was out?
Oh yeah,
he had a good little.
Torres was in the. I want to say he was a 125er.
Was he?
Yeah,
I thought he was 135.
That was what was so unique about him. It might have been.
He was tall and skinny, but like the drop off on him and the drop off on Hannibal Howe were so fast.
Both of them.
When they lost, it was done.
Done.
I mean, the crickets didn't hear from them pretty much ever again.
Michael Torres got hit with some shots that ended up doing a lot of damage. And this is what we talk about.
Who's Michael Torres?
The guy you're talking about.
Miguel Torres.
Miguel Torres, excuse me, Michael Torres.
I wasn't sure if they were talking about somebody else now. I was like, shit, did I fuck up?
No,
Miguel. Okay.
But he had a couple of fights, when he was in the WC that, he got hit with big shots. He was never the same after a couple of those fights. So, and you can look at those fights and go, well, hey, he was the champ. He made it to that point. But Dave, were those at 135 or was any at 125?
Puts him at his featherweight. I'd have to go find somewhere else where these fights are listed.
Yeah, that was the last part of his career. He's a featherweight. So. But I think Josh is right. Bantamweight was his thing.
I feel like he was a bantamweight when Dom was coming up.
WEC bantamweight champion.
Yeah. Yep. Interesting. Yeah. Man, he was good for a while, for a minute there.
Yeah.
He was real good. But yeah, I would put Dom for sure. That's the top guy. Okay. For sure, the top guy. We got Ice Out. Ice Out. He says to us, thanks for the super chat. Ice Out. He says, thank you for all the great insight. Truly invaluable coming from both of you. Y'all never miss. I wish I could agree with you on the fact that we never miss. I miss all the time. That's why you guys love this show, because I miss all the time. And then I'm going to go ahead and let Dave read this one for Shiz Akhmedov. Go ahead, Dave.
Yep. Jon Jones is a freak athlete and can party and piss people when he wins fights without training. Yeah, baby. The steroid use will not make him the GOAT. Don't believe me. Ask any purist if it matters. Thoughts? Dave, you too.
Dave, you too. He wants your thoughts, Dave. What do you think?
Is a freak and can party and piss people when he wins fights without training. That's true because he did it.
Because he really did it. That's what he did. Oh shit. Can you imagine though, man, like a couple weeks out testing positive for cocaine and still going out there and fucking just
annihilating a great fighter?
Yeah. You're just like, what? Man. I mean, there's been guys that tested positive for cocaine the night of the fight. What's his name? Carter.
Yeah, Ruben Carter.
Carter Williams. Carter Williams from brutal. Yeah, he didn't win though. He lost.
That was kickboxing. Yeah.
Just on the situation though, do you guys think that the UFC's holding it? Do you think it's a matter of the UFC's holding out hope and there is a sense that Jon Jones is done, or do you guys think that something is in the works and just nobody's talking about it until it's on paper, until everybody signs the dotted line?
I think there's absolutely something in the works. Dana doesn't sit there and have nothing there that he can point to and say, well, look at this is the time frame that I've discussed with him, that I've given him this much time, and he says then he's going to fight. Dana will give you that time because he's the one in control. He's not going to sit there and have no idea, when you're going to fight or anything like that. No, he's going to take control and sit there and say, hey, you got to give me a date, and if you don't give me a date, then I'm just going to strip you. And then, you can move on with what you're going to do and sit on the bench, decide you want to fight again. Maybe I'll give you another fight at the title, but until such time, it's going to move on. True.
Dana's learned a lot over the years from dealing with fighters, from BJ Penn to Randy Couture to Chuck Liddell, Tito Ortiz, and dealing with Jon Jones. He is not going to be controlled or let a fighter dictate what he does. He's done with those days. Back in the day, he would kind of bend a little bit here and there to help, or to fall in line with the fighters and try to be their friend as well as, be their promoter. Those days are gone, man.
Gone.
He doesn't care. Like
he gives no fucks.
Yeah, John sat out for how long? Because no, I'm not bending whatever it is you want. You come back, you want to fight. Come back and you want to fight. If you don't, we're good. Look what he is with Conor right now. Connor's put out some tweets talking about fighting or whatever it was, and he's like, Connor's not coming back for a while. So Dana's like, I don't have time to deal with his ass. Haven't talked to him in a minute. But I'm sure if he calls my phone, I'll pick up. But I'm not dealing with it until he's ready to fight. And so he's not going to be bothered by things anymore. He's moved on from all that. All right, you got Juliana Pena and Kayla Harrison right now, and the odds are showing. Holy shit.
It's crazy.
Shit. I would put my money down right now if I were you on Kayla Harrison. Juliana Pena is a minus 425 favorite. Holy man. And Kayla Harrison is a plus 264. I'm taking Kayla all the way to the bank. All the way to the bank.
Holy shit. Yeah. I look at those odds and I go, who on their staff came up with that?
Cash me out.
That is crazy.
Yeah, cash me out. BetUSTV.com. You guys hit it up, man. You guys can make some money off of this fight, like however you want to bet it. But I'm going to take Kayla Harrison. What was it, Dave? It was plus 265. Yeah, I would take 264 minus 425 for Juliana Pena, plus 264 for Kayla Harrison. I'm taking that all the way. There's just no way. That baffles me. I expected it to be a little bit more even money.
Yeah.
I would have probably even made Kayla a little bit more of the favorite. Not by much, John. Not by much. I could have seen it being like a 125, a minus 125 for her, and then like maybe like a minus one, maybe like a plus 110 or 115 or something for Julia, somewhere around there. I'm taking that. I'm taking the plus 264 for Kayla Harrison. The next card or the next fight. We have got Kelvin Gastelum and Joe Pyfer.
The fight that we were supposed to have before.
Yeah,
I like this one because someone is a plus 315 while the other one's a plus
410.
Someone made a mistake.
I'm assuming that Joe Pyfer is the minus 410. Yeah, actually, let me take a look at these. Let me take a look at these, man. But I think it's going to end up. Let me see here. I've got them here too. Nope, they put the same thing on both. Plus 410. Oh man,
what's the fight? Because I can find UFC 316.
It's the next pay-per-view. 316.
Gastelum Pyfer. Oh, it's minus 410 for Pyfer.
That's what we found.
That seems more like it. And look, I'm not going to go against Joe Pyfer. Look, I think Kelvin Gastelum, if he can drag him into the early third round, somewhere in there, he might have a shot. I think the overall power of Pyfer is going to be a problem because Kelvin Gastelum is able to get hit. He gets hit quite a bit, but I love Gastelum, man. I think just the energy, the in and out. But if he walks into a shot, it's going to be lights out. Yeah. That's all I get, John. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's the same thing. I always talk about Kelvin Gastelum as my Roberto Duran of MMA, and I love him as a fighter, but it's just a bad matchup. Yeah, in my opinion, for him. Joe Pyfer is super strong, hits like a truck. Kelvin's going to have to fight a perfect fight because he's not going to really try to wrestle him much. That'll take too much gas out of him. So he's going to have to fight a really good fight on the feet, moving his feet, getting in and out without getting hit with the big shot.
Yeah, we got Mario Bautista versus Patchy Mix, the newcomer coming in.
Patchy Mix?
Patchy, the newcomer, John.
Who is Patchy Mix?
Come on. Minus 180 over Mario Bautista at a plus 150. Yep. That seems about right.
That's about right.
I would have put it about that. I could have seen it being a little bit closer to even money, but I put it about right at a minus 180. I'm gonna take Patchy Mix on this by submission or finish. I think he's gonna get the finish in this fight. Now there will be some jitters in this first time fight. Also, too, he knew that this fight was going to become available, and they called him up. You want this fight? I'll take this fight. Literally within 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Very impressive. Always training, always ready. His main training partners, world-class grapplers, but Marab, Aljo, he's trained a couple times with Umar. Like he is somebody that what I love about him, he talks about, I train with every single person that I can get my hands on. Doesn't matter who it is. If they're 190 pounds, I train with them. And, I explain to them, hey, like, we're not trying to hurt me, please, because you are a big guy. But, like, I train with them. And everybody in my weight class, I train with them. And I saw his interview. I love what he had to say. He said, I felt like as a man, I had to tell Marab, like, one day if I come over to the UFC, we're going to fight. And he had to walk in and tell him to his face. I think that's very respectful, man. Understanding that, hey, we train together. I know we train together, but if I do end up coming over, the hopes is that I'm looking to get that shot. I'm
coming for what you've got.
Well, yeah, we're not going to do the Aljo and Marab thing. We're not doing that. I train with you. I
Well,
respect
hold
you.
it.
I want to fight.
I respect both ways, because I respect the fact that Merab had that much admiration and friendship with Aljo that he said, no, it's not worth it for me to fight.
True.
But you have to respect the fact that Patchy is man enough to go to your face and say, hey, I just want you to know, I know we train together at times, but if I get this opportunity, I'm taking it.
Yeah, if I were you guys, I would take a look at these prop bets too as they get closer to the fight, because I'm looking at Patchy to probably get some sort of submission, either in round 1 or round 2. Somewhere in that position, I could see him getting it. If Bautista thinks he's going to wrestle and try to get him down,
that's a bad idea.
But then also too, how do you get away from Patchy? Like if you're striking, you're gonna have to close that distance, and he's tall, long, and lanky. He's 5'10", at 135 pounds, maybe 5'11". He's a tall guy. He's got long limbs. He wraps up that front rear naked. He wraps up the darts and the anacondas real quick. I mean, the Arman guillotines, he can hit from anywhere. He's really good off of the back. He's got a great elevator sweep to get to the top position that he uses his guillotines and his Arman guillotines for. He'll hit chokes from anywhere because of the way his body is. And for 135 pounds, man, I think he's probably the best grappler in the sport right now. Just my personal opinion. I know there's other fighters out there with better accolades in terms of in competition. This is not a jiu-jitsu competition. This is punches being thrown in your face. This is a fight. And he seems to have a game that is suited for his grappling game is suited for MMA. It's fantastic. I think his time working with Jake Shields really kind of helped a lot, because just using and staying composed, learning how to stay on the head, it keeps people from getting away from you. They're constantly having to fight the hands, keeps them closer to your body and able to attack the neck. Jake was fantastic at that. And Patchy's, I think, is just starting to take it to another level. So looking forward to seeing this fight. I'm looking forward to seeing him inside the UFC where he belongs. Good for him.
Yep.
What else?
All right, moving on here. Ilia, it came out today that Ilia has left his gym, Clement Club. And I just want to get you guys' thoughts on, I don't know how much you guys know about the gym itself, but just, typically when this happens, what do we, how do we end up seeing things play out? How does it negatively or positively impact the fighter? I want to get you guys' take here.
Go ahead, John.
When you take a look at this, just in that perspective of who he's leaving his gym, it is something, but you got to look and say his brother is one of his coaches. His brother is always going to be with him. So he's not losing all of his coaches. He's not losing all of his gym. He's taking the people that are important for his, training and make it to where he's comfortable with. He's gonna bring, specific people for the stand up and his boxing and everything like that. Do I think it's a problem? I always think it's a problem when you're leaving a place based upon what caused that problem. Where all of a sudden was the dissension? Where all of a sudden what has changed between either you and the gym and that coach, or what's going on? Because there's something going on, and that's something that when you look at it, there's that distraction that's not good.
Yeah, what I take away from it is I try to leave several times. I try to leave AKA. I went out to Frankie's spot, thought about training out there because my mom lives literally a quarter mile down the road from him. So I was like, all right, cool, perfect. At least I know when we're on the same fight camp.
Then you thought about living around your mom again? You said, I can't.
I just thought about living in Jersey, and I was like, damn. I would have to fly out back and forth, or even if I moved out there, I didn't see myself moving out there. But Frankie Edgar being a fantastic training partner, having a group of guys out of there, plus going into Henzo's and training with John Danaher and those guys that were there at the time, Phil Nurse and, Ricardo Almeida, all within those areas would have been great. I tried Randy Couture's spot, Extreme Couture's. He had Gray Maynard, had Tyson Griffin, had Jay Heron. But then I went there and trained. I was like, dude, my career would be over in seconds because these guys train like fucking wild men. I was like, there's just no way. There's no way I could train with these guys the way that they train all the time. It's fucking like Shark Tank every damn day. I was like, yeah, this is not good for anyone's health. So I didn't train. I loved the atmosphere of it all. I thought people were fantastic. And I actually loved Vegas because in the, during certain times of the year, even into the later, it was still kind of warm outside. California and Northern California, it's fucking cold around October. It's freezing. But then I tried down in Huntington Beach as well. I tried with Razor Rob and those guys.
You tried San Diego.
I tried San Diego at Alliance and with Dom and those guys and Phil Davis. Just nothing felt like home. In this situation, what I get concerned about is it's a big fight. They're all big fights now for him, but it's a big fight. And what you take away when you leave is what you end up missing is the routine. The routine is not the same. And I don't know, like that to me is so important if you want to become the best in the world at whatever it is you're doing. Tom Brady talked about his routine. Michael Jordan, he had a routine. He was obviously off his routine several times. He'd go play 36 holes and then go play a game that night. But it was like whatever he had in his mind is what he wanted to do. And that was his routine. But like Kobe Bryant had his routine, the Mamba mentality was just strictly like, hey, I train at this time, and they didn't let anything distract him from that. This can interrupt. This first fight will be something that if he's going to look the worst he's ever looked, probably since we've seen him, it'll probably be in this fight. And only based on the fact that it's new. Everything is new to him. The coaching, the cornering, the way they wrap their hands, how the pad works are, who are you bringing? Are you bringing people in? Is it all now just catered around you? What are the specifics of it all?
That is the question.
Are you breaking the routine? Here's the other thing is like boxers, right? They just have themselves and their coach and they travel, or people come to them to train. Is that what he's looking to do? Is he trying to take that boxer mentality of like I have one or two coaches and that's it, and everyone comes to me and trains with me, or is he going to be at a gym that has other world-class fighters that he trains with on a regular basis? Is he going to have something that has access to like that? There's a group of fighters like a Killcliff or American Top Team or an AKA or a Greg Jackson. Is he going to have a group of guys that he can train with on a consistent basis and try to help him get better? Or is it just going to be him inside his homemade gym in his house with his cryo chamber and all the other stuff? What's it going to be like? Because when you make it all about you and MMA, it gets a little, it's a selfish sport. I get it. GSP was able to make it work. But GSP traveled everywhere to train with John Danaher, to train with Faraz Sahabi, and to train in locations. And he spent time there, and then he made adjustments. Is that what he's going to do? Because if he does that, there might be some success there. But there's the change. The change is always the first fight will always be the hardest. I think
the first fight is the hardest, but the fact that you have the ability in the position that he's in, what made George St. Pierre so successful. He would travel to Albuquerque, train with Greg Jackson. He would travel to New York, train with Henzo, train with John Danaher. He would travel back to Montreal for TriStar and be with Frias. And you look and you go, it worked for him. It worked for him. It doesn't mean it's going to work for everybody. And we're going to find out if this works for Ilia.
Yeah, it's a tough fight to do it against. You're going up in weight and you're fighting a former champion in Charles Oliveira, who is tall, long, and lanky and extremely good on the ground. One of the best, if not the best, in the UFC in terms of submissions. So this is, and it's so funny because when the fight was announced, I'd seen everyone say, man, Ilia's going to knock him out, But as now, in the last probably 3 or 4 days, I've seen a ton of people kind of not retracting what they said, but just basically saying, yeah, Charles, though, I've seen him, he gets dropped or gets wobbled in every fight, and then he comes back and wins. And I'm like, yeah, he has that Eddie Alvarez kind of effect where he gets hurt, he gets stunned, and then he comes back and submits you, or he comes back and he wins 3 or 4 rounds, whatever it is. Like, he's that guy. And so we haven't seen Ilia, I think, at that. We've seen him at the top level. We haven't seen him in rounds 4 and 5, where can he be pushed? Can he be, how is he on the ground in terms of, with someone like a Charles Oliveira?
Well, you got to look and say my one, and I know I'm going to get eaten up for comparing this because I'm not comparing them. Charles Oliveira is one of the best submission grapplers there's ever been in the UFC. But Ryan Hall is a damn good submission grappler. Ryan Hall submitted BJ Penn in the UFC. And Ilia Topuria ate him up on the ground. So it's not bad.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. Yeah. There's just the comparison's a little
Yeah,
BJ Penn was
but
very old.
yeah, I understand that, but Ryan Hall was dominated. You know, he was on the ground and he got worked by ground and pound from Ilia Topuria. And I'm looking at a guy that knows how to fight off of his back, has a great submission game.
Yeah.
And so at least I've gotten a taste of seeing what Ilia can do with someone who I know can, you know, move on his back and submit people. I've seen what Topuria can do to stop it. So not bad.
No, I get it. Look, I'm looking forward to an exciting fight. And I think Charles is going to surprise people. Who knows? Ilia's got the power, man, and you can never count that out. It's there. We saw it was there in the later rounds too with Max, and so it's still available. But you know, can Charles get this fight to the ground and dominate the top position? I guess is the question. And I think what he's also done is he's inserted himself. Ilia has in talking about I'll submit Islam on the ground. Now that makes everyone believe like, well, if you say you can submit Islam. Like an Islam submitted Charles, we should be expecting some sort of submission then from you against Charles as well, or a knockout, either way. But I'm saying if this fight hits the ground, like we shouldn't have any problems, correct? Like Ilia should be able to dominate him on the ground. If you're saying that you could submit Islam and Islam submitted Charles, that's what
saying
he's
it.
Not
saying
if
it.
He did say it.
Saying it and doing it are two different things.
True.
I'm okay with him saying it, but I'd like to see it.
What else you got, Dave?
All right, we got we talked about the odds already, but we got the fight announcement for Patchy Mix coming over to the UFC. So what do you guys think about this signing, how he fits him in the division, and then this fight he's got ahead of him?
This is, you know, when you take a look at this fight and everything, this is I kind of look at it now. PFL's got two people that were part of their roster that are on this card. One going for a championship in Kayla Harrison, and Patchy Mix making his debut against Mario Bautista. And just this matchup, when you look at it, the fact that, you know, the UFC matchmakers, they understand fighting and they understand, you know, who's, you know, going to do well in certain things, and they understand this matchup. They're not dumb, and they know exactly what Patchy brings to the table. And this is I'm just going to say, I like Mario Bautista. I think he is a stud. This is a tough matchup for him, because where he likes to go and where his norm is to take people to the ground. And that is a dangerous thing to do when you're facing Patchy Mix.
Do you think they're doing this to him because of his last performance?
I look at it, and when his opponent fell out and all of a sudden they had Patchy Mix on the roster, I was like, oh no, that's good. Do you think they're going to put, you know, him in there? Yeah, well, maybe. Sure enough. And you know, they sometimes do it. You know,
Patchy thought he was going to get somebody in the top 5 when he came in. He's like, but I don't mind working my way up. And I think Bautista right now is at number 10. So, I mean, it's definitely a fight that I think is caters to Patchy Mix. We'll see if he can get it done.
Well, and this is where the norm, thinking about it, you know, all the time when the UFC brings somebody from a different, you know, promotion and brings them in, they usually give them a stylistically bad matchup in their first fight. Doesn't mean that they're going to lose, but you know, they kind of look and say, okay, whose stylist is going to give this person a problem, and they kind of lean towards that direction. And this one, you look and you go, nope.
But I think also too that there's obviously buzz around Vegas, John, that he's good. They all know.
Hold on, Josh.
They know
he trains out of the PI all the time.
Yeah,
they see him.
Yeah, they know he's good. They know that there's something there, you know. And whether he becomes champion or not, they know that they've got something where he'll be in. He's young. What is he? 29, 28? He's got plenty of time, you know. And he's been sitting on the bench for a year now, whatever it is. So he's got time. Like he just wants to be active and he wants to fight. And he's somebody that I think if Bellator would have fought him all the time, he would have fought all the time. Yep. He's like, I want to just fight. I mean, so good for him. I'm happy. This is a great fight for him. I'm just hoping he gets the finish. I'm hoping he shines like we know he can. He's a fantastic fighter. Shizmat Akhmedov had another super chat. So if you guys have some super chats, throw them on in there. Dave, what you got?
Well, first of all, Zeke asks if Zeke 662, if Islam wins his next fight, can we say he had a better career than Khabib? And Josh, next week, I'm expecting your dog walk picks of the week.
Dog walk makes of the week, baby. I like that. We're gonna have to talk about that. Let's we're gonna have to come up with that, Dave. Let's go dog walks, and we'll just have a picture of me walking my dog. Video. We'll do a short video of just me walking across the screen with my dog. Yeah. Okay.
What was the first part of that? I knew I was waiting for it.
If Islam wins his next fight, can we say he had a better career than Khabib?
Okay, so we talked about this about 3 weeks ago. I already have him slightly above of Khabib, and this is no disrespect to my brother Khabib, like at all. But like, and Khabib probably doesn't even care. He's just like so excited for his brother like doing well, and that's all that matters. Those guys are not competing with each other. They love each other. They've been been best friends for the longest time. They're truly almost just related like brothers. I already have him slightly ahead of Khabib, and that's only based on the guys that he beat as champion, and plus how many title defenses he has. And that's no disrespect to Khabib. And I think if he wins the title, that for sure solidifies him there. I guess the only question I have, John, is if Ilia beats Charles and he wins, does he defend it one time and then come up and try and fight Islam at 70? Because the talk is he wants to be the first 3 division champion, or at least have a shot at the 3 division title. If Islam beats JDM, I think he should just stay there and not even bother trying to go back down. People are like, oh, you should go back down and fight Ilia.
No,
Why would you do that? So you could end up like Max and having to lose the weight and getting back down and doing it, you know what I mean? So that's kind of a crap situation to be in, I think. I think he needs to stay at 70. I think if Ilia wants to come up and try to challenge at 70, go right ahead. If he wins the title, if he wins the title at 155. And look, you guys know how much of a homer I am, but this fight with JDM is not a gimme fight. Everyone keeps talking like it's a gimme fight. This is not a gimme fight. JDM proved how damn good he was against Belal. This is not a gimme fight. So I want people to stop talking like this is going to be some gimme fight. This is not a gimme fight. Islam's going to have his hands full from beginning to end in this fight for all 5 rounds.
Absolutely. I just look at it, I have Khabib ahead of Islam right now, but I did say if he wins a second title, you've got to say that he's the one that moves ahead of Khabib in the career. And that's all of it. If it wasn't for Khabib and his father, you wouldn't have an Islam Makhachev.
Nope.
So just be glad that they're there.
Yeah. Next super chat there, Dave.
From Shizak Medov, is the myth true about Jon Jones? His arm got trapped by Vitor instead of tapping and accepting his loss. Jon used his freaky strength and lifted Vitor up in the air, slams and escapes. The next day was his arm in pain.
I don't know about the next day, but right then and after the fight, his arm was in pain because you saw him. He had nothing but problems in that. That was the first round of his fight with Vitor, and it's funny because someone had a question before about you don't see the Americana. That's how Jon beat Vitor. He beat him with an Americana. So you do see it. you do see it at times and stuff. It's still there, but Jon Jones's arm was popped. There's no doubt. It doesn't, because an arm, the capsule pops. It hurts. It's painful. You can feel it throughout the fight, and he absolutely felt it. He felt it that night. I'm sure he felt it the next day. He felt it for the next week. That's just what happens. But when you have adrenaline and it's a fight, that would have been a situation that if they were just in the gym, Jon would have tapped. Yeah. But he was fighting, and he's not going to tap. And so Vitor would have had to have hyperextended that and made it, subligate. And if that would have happened, that would have been the end of the fight. But he wasn't able to do it. So that's why Jon Jones is the guy he is.
Did you guys hear that? Subligate. Did you guys get it? Okay. Alejandro Gutierrez. Let's go ahead, Dave. Read that one off too.
Yep. What if Jon is training 100% at Lionhead Boxing Gym and becoming a ruthless Muay Thai fighter in Thailand? Is Pena powerful enough to control Kayla? Those are 2 different questions.
I love it. There's 2 different questions, and let's be honest. I'm sure Jon's training his Muay Thai. Is it going to change him? No. Jon has his stand-up. He has his way of doing something. Maybe he'll get something that he can try to, utilize in his stand-up game, but he's not going to change who he is.
Not right now.
He's not going to try to be a Muay Thai fighter. Okay, and he doesn't fight like a Muay Thai fighter, and he's not going to do that now. It's great to go to train with different people, get different ideas, try different things, but Jon is who he is, and it's been pretty successful.
Can you imagine if you saw Jon come out and he was just like this, on his tippy toes, light on the first leg, just Tong Po style? I could see it. I imagine. I can imagine that. I think Jon, I think he's had good knees throughout his career, but I always felt like a guy with his talent, his ability, his reach, and his length. I think his knees should have been a lot better.
But if you're going to look at Muay Thai, one of the things that Jon has been fantastic at is elbows.
Yes, I think he's probably the best in the game at the elbow division. Yeah, just nasty, especially from the top and ground and pound.
Oh, on the ground,
brutal. It's so weird. He can just stand over you and still elbow you. It's so long. What else you got for us, Dave? Anything else?
Yeah, I do want to read this one from Lazybed, who supervises the chats for us. He says, modding chats is tough business. When I feel depleted and run down, I always reach for a refreshing can of LMNT, 1000 mg sodium, 200 mg potassium, and 60 grams magnesium per serving.
Look at this guy.
Look at that. I'm telling you, my elements saved me today. I was out in the brutal sun cutting down massive trees.
Hilarious. Lazy Bed. You're the man, Lazy Bed. Hey, Lazy Bed, hit me up in my Instagram at The Real Punk. Slide into my DMs and I'll send you off a box.
All right.
LMNT.
We got a fight announcement. Amanda Ribas versus Tabitha. Is it Nicci?
Tabitha Ricci.
What do you guys think?
The baby shark against Amanda Ribas. I think this is actually a good matchup. This is one that I'm not sure. Haven't they fought before though? Is this a rematch?
I don't think so. Is it? I don't think so.
Fought. Okay. Well, I will say that I think that Tabitha Ricci's gotten very good in her stand-up game. Before it was actually a liability for her, where now she's really gotten good with what she's doing. She's been working with. She's got a boyfriend that is a boxer, working with Haas out in Ventura, California, and Haas has done a great job with her. Her ground game is good. Obviously, Amanda Ribas is good everywhere. She's got a good ground game. Her stand-up is solid. So I think the matchup is, this is a close fight.
Ooh, you think so?
I do.
Oof. I think Tabitha Ricci runs away with it.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think Ribas, like, she's scrappy, she's tough. She can't stop takedowns. I think not only just that, but I think also too, she leaves herself wide open to be hit. She's not someone who moves her head offline when she strikes. She's a very straightforward fighter, but she does a lot of movement up until she's ready to strike. And then she stops and just goes straight in.
Straightforward.
She doesn't like strike off the movement. She just stops and then goes straight forward. And I think Tabitha Ricci's she can be too elusive, but also Tabitha Ricci, I think, is the physically stronger fighter. And so when this matchup happens, I think she's going to be able to control Ribas, whether it's on the feet or takedowns or control, whatever it is. I think she'll be able to control her. So I'm going to go with Ricci.
Okay. Much closer fight in my mind.
Okay. Tabitha Ricci, who is her boyfriend?
Someone said in the chat real quick, she's dating that Irish dark ? She's
dating the guy that Dana has been helping.
Yeah.
Callum Walsh.
Yes, that's right. Good for her, man. Like, he can box, dude. He's game. He can box.
He's good.
He can box. What else you got for us, Dave? Anything else?
Yeah, I wanted to get your reaction to Sean Strickland's comments towards Belal Muhammad. So he does this interview with Helen Yee, and here's what he says. Belal, you should finally sack up. All that shit you talked, man. We can finally make it happen. You lost your belt. You got fucked up. I got fucked up. We should make that fight happen, Belal. He said he would come up to middleweight before. All that shit he talks on Instagram. Now you can do it. You effing pussy. Do it for Palestine. I'd fucking love that fight. There's nobody there for me. He just fought. Let the lip heal. Why not?
Yeah. Sean.
Hey, dude. He's not ruthless. He's endless.
Yeah.
He just goes after it in an endless fashion. He's like a tidal wave. It just keeps flowing.
Do you want to see that or no?
Yeah, I would love to see that fight. I think if Belal has decided he's going to move up to 185, that's a great fight for him. I'm not too sure that I think Belal should be at 185.
No, he shouldn't.
I don't think he's got the frame comparatively. I think that he's perfect at 170, but that's up to him. If he says I'm tired of cutting weight, because he did not look great for his weight cut with JDM. He looked pretty drained. Sometimes it's just a bad cut. I can't, you don't know, but if he's getting tired of it, then go up to 185.
It took him a while to get to the title shot, and then the UFC's not going to make it easier for him to get back. He's 38 years old, or 37, 38. So I don't think that they'll be giving him another title shot. So you might as well get the fights that interest you the most, or the ones that spark your interest, or the ones that really like kind of light a fire under your ass. Yep. If that's at 185, have it at 185. If Kamaru Usman loses and he's available, like if he loses to Buckley, then I would like to see the Belal and Usman fight. That to me would be a good fight because they can both wrestle, they both stand. To me that would just be a good fight. And the two of them had words and exchanged words back and forth. And
podcast words.
Yeah, podcast words. Exactly. Nothing to overstep the boundary. No. Just back and forth with each other. I loved it. Even Usman had very respectful things to say afterwards in terms of like, look, I didn't want him to lose, I want to chase the title, but it just he lost, but he's like, I didn't want him to lose. I wasn't like hoping he would lose. Yeah. So, but I mean, overall though, I think I'd like to see that fight. However it happens, I'd like to see that fight. So those are two fights. They're both getting older. Both have had their runs, both former champions. I mean, what better fight to put together than that fight? If that, I would only say like if Usman loses to Buckley, because I don't think Usman would want to fight him. If he beats Buckley, he's probably thinking I'm next. Yeah, if that's the case, so which is understandable. But what else, Dave?
All right, last thing here is Kevin Lee getting signed with the PFL, multi-fight deal, debut opponent to be decided. What do you guys think?
You said it earlier off air when we weren't talking. You're like, well, you guys let Patchy Mix go, you let Aaron Pica go, and then you guys signed Kevin Lee. So you're going I guess you're going the wrong direction. And nothing against Kevin. Like, I hope you have a good stint there. I hope you have a great stint there. But like,
absolutely,
you're letting go of guys that are international or not international. Some are internationally known, but you're letting go of ones that are across the board believed to be in the top 15, top 20. To sign ones that have had problems throughout their career, either making weight or just having problems settling in and having good performances. I don't know why you would do that, but it's par for the course for the PFL and how they're running business.
I like it. Is Kevin Lee a guy that's going to want to be in their tournament? And I don't know. It doesn't mean that, he is. They may have made it to where, hey, we're going to do, one-off fights with you and let him go towards 100, maybe get a title shot at 155, against Usman.
He's not making 55, John. There's no way he's making 55.
I kind of doubt
it. 70 probably
170.
Yeah, I mean, do you see him beating the guys at 70?
No. Just being honest. No.
Yeah. I mean, who's there right now at 70?
With everyone, I mean, as far as their tournament, I'm trying to remember who they have.
PFL, Dave.
Oh yeah, sorry. They don't even have.
You got guys like Jason Jackson. All right, you got tough fights.
Well, look. Here's the other one. Like
Musayev.
You let Yaroslav Amosov go. It was 27-1, and then
this is welterweight here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Logan Storley, Jason Jackson. I can't see.
Thad Gene. It's a young fighter, but
tough fight.
But he's good.
Yeah.
Koreshkov.
Yeah. There's guys. What happened to Lorenz Larkin?
Lorenz Larkin was with the GFL.
Oh, that's right.
Gone forever league.
Yeah, they're gone forever. John came up with a good name for that. It's very unfortunate. Hey, have you guys got any more chats you guys want to throw in real quick before we go ahead and hop off? I want to let you guys know, thank you so much for continuing to support us. And we got Shiz Akhmedov. Let's go ahead. Give us another one.
Yep. Shiz. Let's see. Where is he?
Shiz.
Loving Canada, met Fierce and GSP. John, it's like you said, GSP is friendly, fantastic image of a martial artist, but to be honest, I love the gangsta attitude too, baby. Josh, this is for you. I smash everyone. Bring it. Hams up, baby.
Oh, shiz, buddy, shiz. I know people are thinking that I've got something against Hamza. I have nothing against Hamza. Well, John, I did another little quick small show with my buddy, and the headline reads, fraud check for Shemaev. Will it be considered like a fraud check if he loses the DDP? Let me ask you. I'm asking you the question.
No, he's not a fraud.
Okay, can I ask you why?
Here, I look at it this way. First off, I knew who Khamzat was before he was in the UFC, and he was one of those guys you looked at and you said, "Hey, this guy can fight. This guy's good." And the real question was, most of his fights didn't go very long, and so everybody in the gym, and you know what gym talk is, but everybody in the gym that worked out with him that I had talked to said, "Hey, the guy can go forever. He's got a gas tank. He can go." But then COVID happened. He got really sick, and he hasn't had the ability to really sustain himself in a fight where he looked good in the later rounds. He's looked really good in the beginning, but the later rounds, he's just, hasn't performed in the way that you go, okay, you know what? He can go the distance and be good, because we've only seen him in 3-round fights.
Yeah.
That's the longest fight we've seen him in, and he wasn't doing well in the 3rd round. So you can sit there and say there is absolutely a question. Does he have something that is hindering him in being able to have the cardiovascular that he needs to fight a championship fight into 5 rounds? We're going to find out, because I don't think he's going to get rid of DDP fast. Dricus is very good. He's awkward. He's going to give Khamzat some problems. I think Khamzat's going to kind of control him and dominate him in the 1st round, but he's going to make it through it. And then as the fight progresses, we're going to see exactly where Khamzat's at. So is it, if he loses the fight, does it mean that he's not a good fighter? No, he's a hell of a fighter. He's a hell of a fucking goddamn fighter. He's got a ton of skill. It's that every fighter, and sometimes you don't start out this way, sometimes it's something that happens that makes it this way. Every fighter has their downfall. Every fighter has their weakness. Randy, I say it all the time, Randy Couture was a guy that I trained with quite often and stuff, but he was never that guy that was very fast. He was never that guy that was physically super strong. He was never that guy that you looked at and you went, God damn, man, that's scary as far as the way he does that. But mentally, he was gifted with the ability to say, I don't give in. Where you had other people that physically, they were gifted by God with everything, but mentally, they were weak.
Yeah.
So,
well, I don't think that he is weak. Mentally weak. I don't think that at all.
No, I don't think that's not what you're saying. But I'm saying everyone's got their liability when it comes to the fight game.
This is what I think is going to happen if he does lose. They're going to go back. All the people that said, no, he's this, he's that, whatever it is, they're all going to go back. And then they're going to start saying, oh, well, he got dropped by Gilbert in the 3rd. He got tired. And then, when he fought Kevin Holland, he actually didn't make weight. He missed weight by 11 pounds. Kevin Holland made weight for 170, and then it took the fight, made a lot of money. The Whitaker thing, his teeth had already been pushed in. They're going to start going back through all of these things and displaying it out as if like maybe he was a fraud. That's what they're going to do. So John, I'm simply throwing this out there. Yeah. I haven't seen a big enough sample size on him, and I know I get criticized for that, and I really don't give a shit, because bottom line is when you're getting rid of guys so fast like he is, I like to see more, and I say that about everybody. I say that about every single fighter that is that good and having such a great experience inside the UFC and being able to dominate the way that they are. I need to see a little bit more, and that's okay. I said the same thing about Ilia Topuria. I needed to see it just a little bit more. And I saw it with the Max Holloway fight. I thought it was ill-advised for him to go down, and I think that had an effect on him, but that doesn't take away from the fact that, Ilia's got power. He's got tight boxing. He's got great defense, and he can land that shot. So I'm looking at this fight. I think DDP, obviously, we all know he's got to survive, but I want people to start thinking, like, if he does get finished, if he does lose to DDP in rounds 3, 4, 5, whatever it is, like, are people going to start saying that he was a fraud? That's what I want to know. That was my question.
If someone is saying a guy who is at this time, 14-0, 15-0, somewhere in there, if that's a fraud with wins over guys like Kamaru Usman, Gilbert Burns, fucking Robert Whittaker, you can sit there and say whatever you want about Whittaker's teeth. He freaking submitted him. He got him to freaking tap. Okay.
I forgot about Usman. They're going to say the same thing about Usman. Like, he took the fight on a couple days' notice and he actually won the 3rd round. Like, they're going to talk like that. That's what I'm saying. Like, these things are going to start to come up after the fact. Hindsight's 50-50. People are going to talk that way.
Yeah. But I look at it. You're looking at a guy who is in a position where, I mean, submission wise, he's great. He's had all kinds of submission, 5 first-round submissions, I want to say he's had. He's got power in his hands. He's got a bunch of TKOs, KOs and TKOs. You can take a look at his fight with Mershart and look at what happened. Boom. That was 15, 20 seconds. I mean, whatever anyone wants to say. All I'm going to say is anyone can lose. He hasn't. Okay, but anyone can. And if he does, it still doesn't mean, that he is, a fraud. The word fraud with, his ability to fight is just ridiculous.
I'm going to say this.
Go ahead.
Be prepared. Be prepared. If he does lose, look for everyone to use that on their thumbnails. Fraud check. Watch out for it. I'm calling it here first. If he loses, it's going to come out. I'm going to be honest, man. I mean, we're probably going to use it. I talked about it so much. We're probably going to use that. Did Chimaev get fraud checked? Was this a fraud? It's going to say fraud check on there for sure. Okay. Absolutely. Okay. Everyone did it with Bo Nickel. We did it first, on Sunday morning or whatever. Next, it was on everybody's thumbnail. I'm not saying they took the idea from us. I'm simply saying that's how fast the media works. They loved him 1 second. Next second, it was fraud check. All right, you got another one. Alex Johnson. Because of this podcast, whenever my friends and I watch UFC pay-per-view and the fight goes to the ground, we all yell out, Kneebar.
Kneebar!
In our Don Fry impersonation. Great. But Alex Johnson, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. Awesome. Shiz Akhmedov has another one. Thank you for your time, guys. And I'm on holiday. I'm looking forward to training at TriStar with Living Legends Faraz. Josh, do you train here? No, I have not trained there. I have talked with Faraz about coming up to visit, but I've never done that. That was back when I was fighting. Are you up for a light spar? Come on, little guy. Come on. Kicking style only. I got Taekwondo background. Kicking style only. Kicking style, okay. No punches? No punches to the dome?
How about punches to the body, at least?
Taekwondo style. Please. Taekwondo style. All right, Shiz, I appreciate it, man. Thanks for the super chat, man. You crushed it tonight, man. I think you probably pushed out about $100 on us. I appreciate you, bud.
Better than Joe Sando.
Joe Sando.
You remember that?
Yeah, Dave.
Oh no, finish. John can finish.
That's it.
No, sorry. I thought John had the comment. I do have a comment.
Okay.
So I've got Callie Marana. She's over on OnlyFans watching the show. She did point out the odds on the graphic that you put up, Josh, for Kayla and Juliana seems to be very incorrect compared to BetUS TV. So just wanted to point out if you guys want to adjust your take based on the odds that you see over here. See, Kayla's a minus.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So Callie from OnlyFans, I want to thank you so much for correcting this because look, I'm looking right at the graphic they sent me over and it says Juliana Pena though is a plus 425 and Kayla Harrison is a minus 600. I don't want to say that sounds more right. I feel like that's even off because we had talked about before. I said I thought it would be a little bit closer. Well, this is the opposite of what I thought it would be. I thought it'd be close, but it's still way off. I mean, I don't think that Juliana's going to win the fight.
Hold on, would you now?
No. John, I always say this. I always say it. I'll throw 10, $15 down.
Yeah.
Just see what happens. At plus 425, throw 10, 15, because you never know. Juliana may be able to make her work so much, and we haven't seen Kayla Harrison in rounds 3, 4, 5.
Yes, we have.
No, not in the UFC.
No, okay. So the rounds in the UFC are different from the rounds in the PFL?
Did you just really ask me that question, John?
I did just ask you that question.
You just asked me that
The answer is no, they're not.
They are, John.
When you're fighting, no, they're not.
John.
Same round.
John.
Said, boy,
years of being
look
in the
at
cage.
you now.
John, years of being in the cage. You're going to tell me that the people that she fought in the PFL were the same, that will bring the same intensity and the level in rounds 3, 4, and 5.
I'm telling you that the people that she fought when it came to Larissa Pacheco, yeah.
She fought Larissa 4 times. She beat her 3. By the time she fought her the 3rd time, John, she was tired.
She was bored. I admit, bored with that fight.
Nothing against Larissa, man. She's awesome. I love watching Larissa Pacheco.
Super tough.
Yeah. You got to need motivation. You need motivation to get up and go train, go run, to run that extra mile, to do that extra squat, to hit those pads a little bit longer, do that bag work.
True.
You need that extra motivation. If you beat somebody twice already pretty handily, you're thinking to yourself, man, 3rd time. Ugh. All right. Nothing against Larissa, though. I love her. But these odds to me are skewed the other way. But I would still probably now I would throw a little bit down on Juliana Pena, but only like $15-$20.
I was I don't bet, but I was going to go throw money. When I saw plus 264, you got to be kidding me.
What are you talking about? You always fucking try to bet me.
Well, that's different. That's betting you.
Well, John, we gambled before and won a lot of money at the casino one time.
Yeah, that's different.
You're a nut.
I did put a questionnaire on OF as well, but Callie didn't put a question, but did just want to comment. Definitely Team Charles for the 155 strap, as long as he doesn't find himself backed against events like Volk Max. Yeah. We'd love to see a Dobronx celebration like he did in Houston. That not actually made me pretty emotional. I think she meant to say that made me pretty emotional.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think Charles, man, he's respected across the sport. I love watching him fight. He's the guy. I think if he gets rocked, he gets hurt, he's still in the fight. So it's definitely, I think he's not getting the respect he deserves. I did notice, like I said, a couple people coming back around, people talking like, oh, he does get rocked every fight, and then people were actually going back through the Ilia fights. He's been rocked a couple times. He got rocked by Jai Herbert. He got rocked by somebody else. I can't remember who they were talking about. Gosh, man, I gotta pull him up. But they were saying that he got rocked in another fight. And he's always made it through it.
Yes. Like the Jai Herbert fight, he got rocked. No doubt about it. But I'll tell you what, he had a beautiful finish with Jai Herbert too.
Yeah. And then, he got hit quite a bit against Bryce Mitchell. But then again, fighting somebody who's so unorthodox, it's hard to even if you're a defensive fighter, you don't know where the punches are coming from. You don't know, with the wrestling and all those. But Charles Oliveira is a different breed. He can wrestle. We saw that again in his last fight. He's got great jiu-jitsu and he can box. He's got great kicks, great push kicks, good knees. He's got good elbows. He's an all-around world-class fighter. Love watching him fight. It's going to be a fun fight. I think it's going to be a great fight. Yeah, someone's going to get finished, though, I think. Somebody's going to get finished.
I agree. I don't see the fight going to the distance.
All right, guys. Hey, make sure you guys join us over at OnlyFans. I want to thank you guys so much for continuing to subscribe to us. Also, use the link down below in the descriptions for LMNT Lazy Bet. Was it Lazy Bet? Lazy Bet.
Yeah, Lazy Bet.
Yeah, he already gave you guys the full breakdown. I love when the fans actually do the read for us.
Do the work for us.
Also, not only just the drinks, though, but John, tell them about the powdered lemonade that you got. Lemonade Salt is fantastic. I actually just reached out to them because Miss McCarthy reached out and said, hey, would you please have them send me over some more packets of the lemonade salt because you guys love it.
Because she drinks it all.
I know. I hope they make it in a can and sparkling. But what I'm simply saying is my daughter wants to do a lemonade stand and we're going to feature Element.
No, element.
And so,
Good.
yeah, and we're basically going to do lemonade, and we're going to rim it with the element salt. And then we're going to throw some mint in there as well with a little bit of lemonade. And we're going to do a little lemonade stand so they can start making some money. My son realized, because him and his buddies started making, there's a group of them, about 4 of them. They built a little business. They make like these little like bracelets, and they make these little like watches, and they make these little things, right? That they sell to their kids, their classmates at school. Then he realized that because he wasn't the one buying the stuff to make the bracelets and the watches and all the other stuff, that he gets less of a percentage. And I said, and he's like, well, can I just buy my own stuff and just make my own? I was like, you absolutely can. I said, it sucks working for somebody else, doesn't it? So guess what we did? We went out and bought him all the stuff he needs to do to make his own stuff.
There you go.
And yeah, so we're in the process now of setting up. We've got a full drink element. I've got a canopy. We started looking online to try to get a canopy made with the drink element logos on it. Get that thing out there, and I'm gonna just take it from lacrosse tournament to lacrosse tournament, set up samples, and see if people want to buy the element in the packages. We'll see, but like set up the QR code and let people get out there and start purchasing basically off of our link. In the descriptions, you get a bonus package with every purchase in our link down below in the descriptions. And man, it's been a great show. It's been fun working with all you guys. BetUSTV.com. Check them out. Glad we had Callie from OnlyFans giving us the down low on the odds and fixing those for us. And I'm going to just rip these people that made the graphic. Crushed us, guys. All right, guys. Well, hey, John, take us away. Oh, be the last thing. WayneMerch.com. Pick up some of our apparel there. And John, take us away, bud.
For everyone out there, thank you for tuning in. Love all the people on the live, and we will see you.